Continuing from our MMA guard passing series, a common situation that happens from the half guard, especially in MMA, is the lockdown leg position. Now, for those of you that don't know the lockdown, Louis is going to demonstrate it. It's when he takes his outside leg, his left leg, he puts it over top of my knee, and then he does a triangle with his legs, hooks underneath my instep and stretches. This is a very effective way to control the leg. It makes it very difficult for me to move my hips around, and he has a lot of effective attacks he can do from here. So it's very important that you take this position seriously. Okay? I've seen a lot of people get stuck in this position and they really don't know what to do to get out of it. So I'm going to give you a couple options that could help you get past this position. Now, the first one, this is my favorite one, is when they don't have it quite locked in yet. Sometimes you can still do it when they have it locked in, but right now we're going to say he didn't fully extend yet. What gives this position power is when he stretches his legs and he stretches my leg. At this point, he can move my hips around and not balance me. So before that happens, I don't want him to stretch my leg, so I do the opposite of stretching my leg. I pull my heel to my butt. All right? So now if he's continuing to do that, stretching, it should be a lot more difficult for him to control you. I'm still going to use the same arm position from our first half guard pass video. Underhook with head control, arms up nice and high. Now I need to get my legs out of this position. I'm sprawled on him, I'm driving my stomach forward, I'm going to lift my heel all the way up in the air. I'm trying to get his legs off the ground as much as possible. And then I'm going to take my left leg and cross it underneath. So it's under his heel. Now once it's under his heel, I can pull up with my left leg, and my right leg is now free. I take that leg and I cross my ankles, and now I release his heel, and now my leg is out of that position. Let's do that again. So he's got the lockdown. I bend my leg before he gets too far into it. I got my head in underhook control. I'm sprawled on him, I lift my knee up in the air and hook underneath that ankle. Lift, cross my ankles, and then switch. Now if we go back to our first video, from here we're in the same position. So we could do the same pass. If he pushes down on my calf, I can switch to my second leg position. And then from here, if he decides to bridge me, I can look for the mount. Pin him from here. I've completed my guard pass. Now, the second one. Do a 180 here. Now, sometimes you get into this position and he stretches your leg really well. And to actually lift and get into that position might feel fairly difficult. It really depends on their build and how well they use this position. So we got to have a second defense. Now, if you pay attention to the first move we did, when I do actually get this knee up, it tends to bring his right knee up a bit. And that's going to make it easier for me to get my foot underneath. But if he's stretched really well, it's harder. I'm not going to have as much space to get my leg underneath. But what presents itself is the top of his knee. So when you use these two moves in combination, when his knee is high, I can lift and hook. When his leg is stretched, I'm going to put my foot over top. So I got two options. I got two ways to deal with this. Now once I get my foot over top, I'm trying to get my toes right inside his hamstring. So that I got my foot on one side and my knee on the other. I'm going to push down on his knee as much as possible to start applying pressure. So we're here, I stretch my right leg, I put my foot over top, I start to push down, and I'm going to support myself with that knee. I'm going to push down on his knee and use it to support myself while I lift and slide my knee over top. Now I got both knees over top of his knee. He's still holding onto my foot, so I put my foot to the side, and I put my hip to the ground. Once again, if he's pushing here, I pull up, my hip's on the floor, I can use my foot to free myself. It might take 1 or 2 or 3 kicks to get into my modified scarf hold. One more time. So we're here. He manages to stretch out my leg, so it's hard for me to get my left hook underneath, so I put my left hook over top. I'm going to push his knee as far to the ground as possible. I'm stretching my leg, bring my knee over top. I got both knees over top, left foot out, hip on the ground. If I need to, I can start to use my left hand to pull up on the elbow and then kick that knee as I pass to get into modified scarf hold to complete the pass. So once again, using that hooking underneath or hooking over top motion with your left leg, using them in combination, usually you'll create one opening on one side or the other. You might go for one technique and then they react, giving you an opening for the other technique, or in the reverse. Or you might go back and forth a few times before you finally create enough space to get your guard pass.